Welcome back to Roman Civilization Part 2. Ancient Rome. When was Roman civilization founded? Ancient Rome is a Roman civilization from the founding of the Italian city of Rome from the 8th century BC until the collapse of the Western Roman Empire in the 5th century AD, and the Roman civilization has included throughout history, the Roman Kingdom, 753 BC to 509 BC, the Roman Republic, 509 BC to 27 BC, and the Roman Empire, 27 BC, until its falling, 476 AD, and the Roman civilization began as a settlement in the Italian peninsula, and it grew to become the city of Rome, which later gave its name to the empire that expanded to become one of the largest empires in the ancient world. And then talk about Roman civilization starting from the kingdom and passing through the republic and ending with the empire. The founding of Rome. According to legend, Romulus and Remus, twin brothers, were the sons of Rhea Silvia, the daughter of King Neometer from the city of Alba Longa, a legendary city located southeast of the region that will become Rome. And before the birth of the twins, Neometer was isolated by his younger brother Amulius, who forced Rhea Silvia to be a virgin nun in order not to give birth to those who compete with him and demand him to rule. But Rhea was fertilized by the god of war Mars and gave birth to him Romulus and Remus. So Amulius ordered that the two children be drowned in the Tiber River, but survived and were swept ashore on the Palatine Plateau. The two children were suckled by the Sirhan, the female wolf, until the shepherd Faustulos found them. Then the twins, who were cared for by Faustulos and his wife, became the leaders of a group of young shepherd warriors, and after knowing their true identity, they attacked Alba Longa and killed Amulius and returned their grandfather to the throne. And then the twins decided to establish a city on the site that sponsored them when they were infants, and soon after, for some trivial reason, the brothers disagreed and Romulus killed Remus. Then Romulus became the ruler of the settlement that was called Rome after him. Roman Kingdom. Who first ruled Rome? According to heritage, Romulus is the first king of Rome in the history of Roman civilization, a fabricated figure from later ancient historians. His name, which is not a native Latin language, was designed to explain the origin of the name Rome, and the fictional era of the founder of the ancient city and the son of the god of war was filled with expected actions, and he was described as having founded Rome's early political, social and military institutions and waged wars against neighboring countries. And it is also believed that Romulus shared his royal power for a while with Titus Tatius, and the name of Titus Tatius is the name of a real ruler early in the history of Rome and may be the first real king of Rome. But nothing was known about him in later centuries, so his rule was with Romulus, and the names of the other 6 kings are original as they were mentioned by the Romans, but there were few documented details about their rule. The reign of Numa Pompilius, who succeeded Romulus in the Roman kingdom, was characterized by calm and complete peace, and it is believed that Numa created almost all religious institutions and practices in Rome, and archaeological evidence of early Roman civilization is scattered and limited, because it is difficult to conduct extensive excavations at sites still occupied by later buildings, and the existing evidence is often mysterious and cannot be easily linked to the ancient literary heritage. However, aspects of the ancient historical calculation can sometimes be confirmed or contradicted. For example, evidence confirms that the first settlement in Roman civilization was a simple village of straw huts on the Palatine Plateau, but the beginning of this village dates back to the 10th or 9th century BC and not the middle of the 8th century. The Roman Republic. What characterized the last decades of the life of Roman civilization? The Roman Republic was the period of classical Roman civilization that began with the overthrow of the Roman kingdom, and the era of the Roman Republic began in 509 BC and ended 27 BC with the establishment of the Roman Empire, and during this period Roman control expanded to dominate the entire Mediterranean world. And the Roman society under the rule of the Republic was a cultural mixture of Latin, Etruscan and Greek elements, which appears in particular with the Roman Pantheon. The political organization of Roman civilization during this period was strongly influenced by the Greek cities of Magna Graecia, and the Republic was not democratic but based on oligarchy, as a few large families monopolized key judicial positions. Roman institutions have undergone major changes throughout the Republic to adapt to the difficulties they face, such as the creation of an alternative Roman governor to govern the provinces that have been conquered or through the establishment of councils, and throughout its existence the Roman civilization in the era of the Republic was in a state of semi-permanent war, but the Republic showed great flexibility and was always able to overcome its losses, no matter how catastrophic, and internally the Republic witnessed a long series of social and political crises that ended in several violent civil wars. The massive conquests of the Republic led to a disruption in society, as the massive influx of slaves led to the destruction of peasant and urban workers, and mass slavery also caused 3 terrible wars, the last of which was led by Spartacus, a skilled warrior who invaded Italy, leaving Rome weak until his defeat in 71 BC. The last decades of the life of the Roman civilization in the era of the Republic were characterized by the emergence of great leaders who took advantage of their military pride and the state of intolerance in Rome to control the political system of Roman civilization in that period, and multiple tensions led to a series of civil wars, the first between the leaders Julius Caesar and Pompeius, and despite the victory of Caesar and his appointment as dictator for life, he was killed 44 BC, and the heir to Caesar Octavian, Augustus, and his assistant Mark Antony triumphed over the assassins of Caesar in 42 BC, but they turned against each other, and the final defeat of Mark Antony and his ally Cleopatra was at the Battle of Actium in 31 BC, and in 27 BC Octavian was granted exceptional powers, making him the first Roman emperor and thus ending the era of the Republic. Economy in the era of the Republic. Although the Roman civilization in the era of the Republic had little interest in managing the daily affairs of its allies, it had to adapt to the expansion of its influence, as roads were a means of expanding economic and military power in Roman civilization, as it made the movement of both soldiers and goods easier and faster, and the Romans also minted coins as their influence expanded, and in 211 BC they introduced a small silver coin called denarius, which became the unit of measurement for currency for most of the Roman era. The single currency has facilitated trade throughout the Roman world, and these easy-to-transport coins could be replaced by goods or services. The currency has encouraged more economic interactions, and the Roman Republic has also participated in trade across the Mediterranean. In addition to the political influence in the Roman civilization, their network of commercial communications expanded as trade relations were usually dependent on good political relations, and like the rest of the ancient societies, the economy of the Roman Republic depended on agriculture, which was incredibly labor-intensive, and when the Republic fought more foreign wars, many small landowners served in the army for longer periods, and if they failed to return to their lands or if they went bankrupt in their absence, the wealthy Romans were they buy it and create larger and larger farms known as latifendia. One of the common practices in Roman civilization in that period is also the enslavement and sale of prisoners of war, and the increasing military conquests have brought many enslaved people to the Italian peninsula, and the economic pace has increased in the Roman Republic due to the forced slaves to work for longer and harder periods than free Romans, and the increase in income resulting from the increase in demand for agricultural products has led some farm owners to shift from growing basic grains to high-value crops such as grapes, olives or animal husbandry, and it is worth noting that this option was not available to small families of farmers. Architecture in the era of the Empire. What are the most important monuments of the Roman Empire? The main contributions to Roman civilization, especially in architecture, were the arch, vault and dome, some of which still exist until now, due to the methods used to make cement and concrete, and Roman roads were seen as the most developed roads until the beginning of the 19th century, as the road system facilitated communications, trade and military movements, and these roads were resistant to floods and other environmental hazards, and even after the collapse of the central government, some roads remained usable for more than 1,000 years, as Roman bridges were among the first large and sturdy bridges, and were built of stones with an arch as the main structure. The Trajanus Bridge built on the Danube is the largest Roman bridge, which has been for more than 1,000 years the longest bridge ever built, and the Roman civilization was characterized by the construction of dams and reservoirs to collect water, some of which are still in use until now, in addition to fountains or public baths or industrial sites that were fed through canals, and insulating glass was used in the construction of public baths, and in cold regions the luxurious houses contained the so-called hypocaust, a forms of central heating. Thanks for watching. Support us by likes and subscribes.